Nintendo just completed their investors briefing, and there's all sorts of really juicy, interesting details, and I'm going to sort them by coolest and most fun to least fun, but they're all important if you're a big Nintendo fan. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Let's buckle up and enjoy the ride, because Nintendo Switch had another super successful year and really delivered a crazy amount of software across all of its biggest games, and now is the best-selling system of all time for Nintendo in Japan. Pretty crazy, pretty amazing, and that makes it the best-selling system of any video game system ever in Japan, as now the Nintendo Switch has crossed 139 million units and has passed the DS as the best-selling system in Japan ever. Pretty darn cool. I also think the newer game sales are really interesting, as Mario RPG sold over 3 million copies in just its first 2 months, month and a half to 2 months, and that already has surpassed the original's total sales, which just shows the power of the Switch and how any genre can be very successful when your install base is so diverse and so huge. But good job to Mario RPG for crossing 3 million. We also have Pikmin 4 crossing 3 million, a little bit ahead of Mario RPG. And then we have Mario Wonder coming in at just shy of 12 million copies, which is so cool for a 2D game. Obviously it's Mario, but you might have thought that, hey, given it's 2D in today's 3D world, it's not going to do so great. But 12 million in just about 3 months time, 2.5 months, freaking incredible. Tears of the Kingdom has now cleared 20 million, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has cleared 60 million, which just continues to be absolutely bonkers. Animal Crossing is right at 45 million, and so we just have these games that continue to sell insanely well. Super Mario Party is now at 20 million, Mario Party Superstars at 12 million, Mario Odyssey 27 million, Mario 3D World 13 million, even New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 17 million, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is at 24 million, making it the third best-selling Pokemon game of all time. The only two above it are the original Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue at the very tippy top, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield. But Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has achieved 24 million in a year's time, whereas Pokemon Sword and Shield, 26 million in about 4 years' time. So Scarlet and Violet is going to go on to almost assuredly be the best-selling Pokemon ever. It'll definitely be the best-selling Switch Pokemon. It does have a bit of a ways to go before catching the 31 million of Red, Green, Blue, but I do think that's attainable, especially considering this game's been out for just a year. The DLC recently released. It could go on to be a long-selling title, and most assuredly will be the continuing selling Pokemon title until Gen 10 actually comes out, and that should be at least 2-3 years away. So it's got time, it's got a long runway. I think Scarlet and Violet just did it, being open world despite the performance issues. I know there's a whole negative side to this, which is TPC and Game Freak know that even a bad performing game can sell oodles, but Pokemon will always sell this many. And that's why Nintendo isn't worried about Pal World, and it's why Nintendo probably won't even take inspiration from Pal World, because look, they got 50 million units between their last two Pokemon games. That is freaking insane. I don't think Pal World will ever reach 50 million despite its crazy sales pace. That is a lot, and I feel like that is going to curve a lot flatter, whereas Pokemon just keeps going and going, and now we know that the latest Pokemon game is quite possibly going to be the best-selling Pokemon game. I want to talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for one more moment, because last February at the investors briefing, it had sold 52 million copies. Now it's at 60.5, meaning it sold 8.5 million copies in like its 7th year of Switch existence, and it's like 10th or 11th, 12th total year of existence. Obviously, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was buoyed by the Course Booster Pass, releasing wave after wave after wave and completing in 2023. But just think for a minute that 8.5 million copies in a year is an insane figure for any game, let alone a game this old. To put that in perspective, Mario Wonder sold almost 12 million units. Brand new game, huge Mario hype. Quite probably Nintendo's biggest game of the holiday, except Tears of the Kingdom, which came out in the summer. Getting 8.5 million in your 7th year and really like 11th year, freaking crazy. Mario Kart 8 has to be one of Nintendo's best games ever. I wonder if in 20 years we'll look back and say, you know what? That was Nintendo's purest game. Their purest win, their purest success, and I can only dream of how they improve upon things, how they build from this, how they dare release another game. It's going to be daunting. I think that team has so much pressure on them because of how well Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did and continues to do. Obviously, a new Mario Kart will sell well, but will it reach 60.58 million units? I doubt it. I feel like this is just the perfect storm, the perfect console, and the perfect scenario where Mario Kart 8 was not received by as many Nintendo fans because of the low sales of the Wii U in comparison to the total Nintendo audience, and then obviously the expanding, ever-growing, and evolving Nintendo Switch audience. But just crazy. 8.5 more million units in the last year. Any new game would kill to have that many sales. And this is Nintendo's, this is like their oldest game they're still selling. So if we take a look at the list of where Nintendo's top 10 sellers are, it is MK8 Deluxe at 60.5, Animal Crossing just shy of 45, Smash Bros. Ultimate now up to 33.5, Breath of the Wild 31.5, Mario Odyssey 27.5, Pokemon Sword and Shield 26, Pokemon Scarlet Violet 24, Super Mario Party at 20, and at number 8, just a freaking crazy success for that game. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is now in the top 10 at 20 million. And Mario Bros. U Deluxe, hilariously, at 17 million. That's the one I think that will drop off. I don't think any of these others are going to drop off. I think when all is said and done, this will be the top 9 for Nintendo Switch titles. I think you're looking at your top 9. In terms of what could pass Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, I do think Mario Wonder will eventually usurp it and take its place in the top 10 as rightfully the best 2D Mario game available on Nintendo Switch. But the other 9, like, incredible. Nintendo went on to clarify their upcoming titles. A very small list, although bigger than last year, I feel, when we just had Zelda pretty much. We now have Mario vs. Donkey Kong on February 16th, next Friday. Princess Peach Showtime on March 22nd, a month and a half away. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is still listed as summer 2024. And then Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door with the blank 2024, Metroid Prime 4 TBA. Paper Mario at 2024, you could look at this one of two ways. Is it 2024 because it's beyond summer? That's what my logical brain says. Like, the fact that they've qualified Luigi's Mansion 2 as summer makes me think Paper Mario is beyond. But there's the other side of this, which is, what if Paper Mario is actually sooner? It's a spring game. It's coming out in May, April, before summer technically hits. And that's why it's not listed, or because it's expected to be a surprise release date at the next Nintendo Direct, and so they want to really kind of save that hype for then. Remember, we are expecting a Nintendo Direct now next week on February 15th. Necro Philippe, who is a very reliable journalist, says that, hey, it's happening next week, and the 15th is the day he has pegged. We also know that Nate Drake, has said, not this week. We didn't get the announcement. It does very much seem like whatever Nintendo presentation we're getting this year in February is going to be next Thursday, and that's where we should see a final release date for Luigi's Mansion 2 and for Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and possibly for Metroid Prime 4 as well. They didn't even give Metroid Prime 4 a 2024 release, which you could view as spooky and concerning, but again, I think it's because Nintendo just likes to keep things under wraps. They're not going to have any announcements at these investors' briefings. These are merely for passing along data and basically wooing the investors, showing them that they're successful, and helping build the confidence of the people that own the stock and keep the company going. So all in all, a super successful year for Nintendo. The system sells insanely well and continues to do so. The games are absolutely meteoric in terms of how high they've risen, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in particular. And then the new titles like Pikmin 4 and Mario RPG over 3 million, Mario Wonder at almost 12, and Tears of the Kingdom, of course, at 20. I will say that one did slow down a bit. I wonder if it's going to ever catch Breath of the Wild, or if Breath of the Wild will stay above. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, let me know your take on all of today's sales. If you want to see Nintendo talking about the future, I do have another video on that that's already up on the channel, so check that out. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.